Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz.
The Brown Couch Bruhz back, motivated and activated. And we got that guy back.
Hey, I'm so excited to be back with this, man. I've been looking forward to it. I had a family emergency, so I couldn't be back when it really tipped off. But, man, this is beautiful. Can't wait. We got our audience back. People been asking.
Hey, that's what we talked about last week.
Yeah,
remember?
Been asking, man, and like and subscribe. Go to YouTube. We doing big things. We're gonna bring you interviews with Metro Detroiters. We got city champions coming. We're gonna have state champions coming. We got some pro guys coming.
Yes, sir.
Referees, coaches, business people that's sports related that then came up through Metro Detroit. So we're gonna do things the big way, man, and I'm super excited for
So what you're saying, we just got down home folk.
Down home.
We going from we getting it from the mud.
Yes, sir. Down out 313.
Out the mud, as the kids say.
Out the mud.
That's right.
Out the mud.
And, tell your people, shout out to the Qs that's gonna get it out there. Y'all bruhs,
we're gonna get it out there.
So shout out for that, man. And if tell your friends, tell your people that's displaced and then Arizona, you're staying in California, tell them, we got a episode for the locals so you can stay in touch with everything.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get this thing going, man. We got Honcho, we got the Loaf, you got your boy Jess, and we're going to do it, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's start it off.
Let's tip it off in customary fashion.
Brown Couch Bruhz.
So let's tip this thing off, man. Tip it off, man. Jess, what you got for the tip off today?
Man, well, my tip off, man, is first of all, glad to be back. Happy Veterans Day. We did miss, we had an episode in between that. So happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. But listen, man, hey, sports is at an all-time high right now. We got college football, college basketball starting up, NBA. We in the middle of the NFL season.
Yep.
And I'm another 2 games away from the pink shirt. I just and those who don't know,
talk about the fantasy.
That's the fantasy. Yeah, that's a fantasy thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm in a bad place.
Yeah.
I'm in a bad place. But you know what?
That's why they call it fantasy.
That's right. But you know what, man? I'm glad for this. I'm glad to tip this off, man. And we're gonna get into the show, man. Hey, Honcho has a great show set up for us, and I'm ready to get into it, man. Let's go. What you got, D?
My tip off? You want my tip off? You really want my tip off? The big news in the metropolitan Detroit area. Ooh. Them UD Titans is 2-1, baby.
Hey.
And the reason why I'm so excited about that is because guess what? Last year we was 1-31.
They've been in the toilet.
Oh man, we've been in what they used to call Detroit D-toilet. But UD was UD toilet.
Yeah.
But shout out to Coach Mark Montgomery over there at UAD. Got those boys playing hard. They 2-1. They got a game this week against Toledo. So I'm just happy to see that he bringing in some different talent.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Coach Davis and what he did at UAD, but it's time for a change. It's time for growth. And like any program you want to start off, you got to bring in some junior college guys, some transfer guys to portal and stuff like that. So shout out to UAD, Coach Mark Montgomery, 2-1 as we speak right now.
Yeah, all right. Shout out
Double
to the
the win
Titans,
total.
man.
Doubled it already.
Let's go. Let's get in.
I was almost a Titan back in my day.
Oh Lord! Every time he always say, "Oh Lord."
I was almost a Titan, man. I was almost a Titan, man.
Yeah.
But hey, real quick for my tip off, man, this is, we missed all of last season. But this season we definitely won't miss. Women's college basketball starts this week. And it's must-see TV. If you had a chance to see it last year and tap in, because some people, this is the first time they really tap into women's basketball with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and that whole saga what's going on. But this year, you got UConn, you got USC, you got some dynamic teams.
Still got LSU.
So shout out to women's basketball starting this week, all the basketball starting this week. But make sure you tune in to women's basketball, man. There's great things happening. Paige Beckers, Juju Watkins, must-see TV for both of them.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because we definitely had some great local talent here, high school talent girls. That we need to bring on the show and just get their perspective on where the sport is going. how they see the sport.
My baby cousin.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick James and his daughter Nicole, Kurt Blackwell and his daughter Sanaya over at Country Day.
Country Day. Yeah.
So we got ballers here, man. We got some great female ballers here. They need to be recognized here on the Brown Couch Brothers, and we're gonna bring it to the masses and then put their names out there and what they're doing for the sport and also for the community.
For sure. Good tip off, fellas. Good tip off. Real quick before we get into game time, this week in sports history.
Lord.
This week in sports history.
What happened? What happened, dog?
Back in 1998, and if you saw, Jordan's Last Dance, the Last Dance that Phil Jackson did with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, you knew this dude, man, was off his rocker. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman.
The worm.
This week, back in 1998, Dennis Rodman married Carmen Electra in Las Vegas. It was probably during that same time that he went away for the team, told the team he needed a vacation, a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phil Jackson gave it to him, too.
And he gave it to him. And came back and balled out.
Right.
Came back and balled out. But this week in sports history, Dennis Rodman married Carmen Electra, man, back in Vegas. Didn't last long, but it happened. So shout out to the worm, man. Shout out to the worm.
You know, when you first put this week in sports, and I saw Dennis and Carmen Electra, I thought the question was, who wore the dress better? That's what I thought it was going to be. But
Probably didn't.
But I see where you went with.
Right.
It could have been that. So it's game time, fellas. Game time. Huge win for the Lions last week. The Lions are now 8-1 in the NFC, and I think it's safe to say that the Lions are the best team in football.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I gotta agree with it, man. Y'all know what my loyalties are.
Right.
But I know good.
Wearing it.
I know good football when I see it. Clearly, they playing the best football, man. All three phases. They got the best. They really have the best coach right now. And it might not be X and O's, but he got these guys wanting to run through a wall for him, man.
For a motivational factor.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I know y'all love it. And
of course.
and I like seeing it, but I'm like, I know. I mean, I'm in a bad place. But, man, 8-1, best team in the NFC. We can arguably say best team in football. Kansas City will argue with you. They might just be bored of what they're doing. They're getting the results, but they're not playing the football that the Lions are playing.
Well, I think what you see out of the Lions is it's not just the talent, and it's not just the coach. Well, I think both of those things are a difference between what the Lions have done in the past and what they're doing now. Mm-hmm. I think it's the way that they're winning games. They're blowing guys out. They're having tough offensive nights, just like they did in Houston, and they're still finding a way to win, whether it's running the football, whether it's throwing the ball, being creative on offense. Defense has struggled a bit lately, but at times defense has also won them games and made plays down the stretch. So for me, it's the way that they're winning games that's really impressing me and catapulting them as one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL. And what happened in Houston last week with that game, 4 years ago, Lions would have lost that by 2 touchdowns. To stay close on the road in a hostile environment and win it in a second field goal and manage that last possession, running the football, playing to their strengths, the defense holding up. It's the way that they're winning football games for me.
My biggest thing, and I think Jess just mentioned it a few minutes ago, is the leadership in Dan Campbell, the leadership in Aaron Glenn. When you have a coach that has played the game, has been in the locker room and feel the soreness, the losses, the wins. He was a part of that 0-16.
Yep.
So I think Zadarius Smith said it best when he came here and Dan Campbell gave him a couple of days off. He understood that was this bye week. He would have been off anyway. So when you have a player coach, as I like to say, that understands the player's needs and just a great motivator and just a great leader, he comes off a great tree with Sean Payton. in the Saints when they were winning the Super when they won the Super Bowl.
Right.
And he played he coached at Miami. If you look at some of his film as a position coach there, he motivated his guys to be better players, be better people. So for me, it always goes back to leadership. And if you got great leaders and you have great leaders on the team who follows the head man's plan and perspective, you can't be nothing but successful.
Yeah, I would agree. And, you mentioned Zadarius not playing last week. And I was a little bit confused and thrown off with him not playing. I thought he was healthy enough to play and had been here a week. But to see, to hear that, it would have been his bye week had he stayed in Cleveland. And had he played last week, he wouldn't have got a bye week at all.
Correct.
But really, Dan Campbell and that leadership team, to your point, seeing the need and valuing the player and saying, "No, we're going to rest you." But at the same time, knowing you need them, but relying on the guys that you have and showing trust in that defense, like, it's cool. These guys got it. And so I think that really has been a difference with this franchise and this team over the past couple of years.
And like Jared Goff said, they're built different from everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, they got a hunger. They had a taste of it last year. They was a half away from being there and getting comfortable. But these guys are hungry now. They came back hungrier. And it's scary to see, man. I see a 3-team race, NFC, with the Lions leading the way. I'm still Philadelphia, the tush pushing all. They still going to be around. San Francisco getting healthy could be a problem. And on the back end of it, watch out for Green Bay for the third time, because you may see them for a third time. You already play them twice. You may see them for a third time. So but they're down the line.
Yeah.
But I still see it's a 3-team race with the Lions separated from 2 and 3. It's above and beyond. They're well separated.
I'm surprised you mentioned Philadelphia before you mentioned Washington.
We'll know something tonight.
Now they're right.
Good point.
Now they're the surprise team, I think, of that division. But I think right now they've been the most impressive. They've been way more impressive to me than Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia right now is sort of holding on. They found their stride as of late. They got some guys back from injury, so they're on the field now. But Washington has been a huge surprise, and I think with their quarterback, Daniels, he gets on a roll. I mean, it could be tough for some other NFC team.
I agree. I think Washington, they're up and coming team, but to Jesse's point, I like Philly. I like Philly because of veteran leadership. I like Philly because the quarterback, more of a veteran than the rookie in Washington. And Philly been there before.
Yeah, they've been.
And we want, to be honest with you, we want Philly and Washington to keep winning. Although they play each other tonight, like you said, we want that pressure so we won't take our foot off the gas pedal. We one game ahead.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if we don't play Philly or Washington, so it's going to come down to conference tiebreakers. Am I correct?
Yeah.
If we come down to the same record, it'll come down to the conference. So the Lions need to keep their foot on the pedal. Philadelphia is getting healthy, like you just said. Washington with the young QB, they fired up. So the Lions just got to stay consistent, stay healthy, like you said last week. And
stay healthy, man.
I think we said 15-2, 14-3, something like that.
Ooh.
And I think that's foreseeable.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't changed since last week, but I don't see them losing till maybe Buffalo
or Minnesota. Is Minnesota the last game of the year?
I don't know.
If we've already clinched and you don't really need to play your guys, it could be
But
that could be the third loss, maybe.
But I'm also a bit concerned about the Chicago game on Thanksgiving. To me, they got to come out and kill an ant with a sledgehammer. Like they have to just dismantle the Chicago Bears team early in that Thanksgiving game. Stranger things have happened on Thanksgiving. I just want to make sure that they don't come and, messing around with the Bears on Thanksgiving.
It's funny you mentioned that. It brings me back to, I think I mentioned this maybe when we first started our podcast. I was like 10 years old, and we were playing Chicago on Thanksgiving Day, and it went into overtime. and it was, I want to say 1978, 80. And we kicked off to the Bears, and the guy took the kickoff back.
I think that was Dave Durrell or something.
No, I don't know if it was Dave Durrell, but he took it all the way back for 100 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm 10 years old. But this kind of stuff that
happens. Right. I'm 10 years old, man, and I started crying, and my uncle, he came up to me. He said, Damon, now this is what he said, verbatim. I never forget it. I remember to this day. He said, Damon, as long as you root for the Lions, your heart will always be broken. And this 78, 80, around that time.
Y'all don't want to hear that, man.
I don't want to hear that, man. But
he's been right.
He's been right.
Up to this point.
Shout out to my Uncle Mike.
Up to this point. But they can change it. They can change it.
Yes, sir.
So look, to your point on the Bears, the schedule is lined up for the Lions. And when I say that,
it's perfect.
They've had a reason to win every game.
Oh, yeah.
And when I say a reason, not to go out and play, we need a W. No, it's a motivational factor.
For sure.
For each game.
For sure.
So to your point on Thanksgiving, they know they lost Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah.
It was to Green Bay.
To Green Bay, yes.
Right. So scratch the Bears off because they know. Well, we got a reason to beat them because we can't let what happened last year.
And the Bears are reeling a little bit right now.
They're reeling a bit, and it's a rookie quarterback, and,
head coaches on the hot seat, all of that. Just fired the OC.
Yeah.
For sure, this should be a win for the Lions. My only thing is it's Detroit versus Chicago. It is a rivalry game.
It's a black and blue game.
And they're going to be up for it more so than any other game they may play. And I'm speaking of the Bears. Mm-hmm. The Lions have got to exceed, not just match, but exceed the Bears' intensity on that game and do it early. Running the football, playing the way they play, getting after the quarterback, holding that ball, keeping the ball, and keeping that defense out there as long as they can.
Well, which is impressive on that is they're finding a way to kick bad teams in the teeth.
Yeah.
And you can go through the list of bad teams that they didn't, and they put the separation. Yeah, we were one of them. We showed out to be a bad team, but they put the separation.
Yeah, we 2-0 for Texas.
We 2-0 for Texas.
Better than Democrats. We're doing better than Democratic Party in Texas.
Say blue, huh?
Hey, we changed it.
Listen, y'all done won more games in Texas than the Cowboys have all year.
Hey, listen. and just the last thing on the Lions, Houston called, they want their city back.
Ooh.
Houston called and want their city back.
That's why when you said
it was more Buffs and Air Force Ones and Lions jerseys in Houston than I've ever seen in my life.
Well, let me tell you the reason why.
Completely took over that city.
You got people that work for Delta, right? And they couldn't fly out on Sunday, right, after the game. And you couldn't fly out on Monday because everybody on standby. They're looking at the charts. They're looking at the board. I can't fly out of here till, I got to fly to Dallas or I got to drive to Dallas like that. So you had some layover people that just, fly for free that just couldn't get up out of there.
Yeah,
they ain't get out of there till Wednesday.
You got some of that, but it's also the Detroit takeover folks.
That's true, too. I just being sarcastic.
They went and took over that city, man. Every club, every bar. I saw the videos, the pictures, man. I wish I could have been there.
A guy, he was on Instagram from Houston. He was like, man, when y'all leaving, man?
We want our city back.
That's right. So when you said hostile environment, I was like, it wasn't that hostile. It was about 50-50, man.
Yeah.
These guys was about 50-50. So, yeah, they showed out, man. They showed out. And Indy, the Lions are coming. They coming in.
That's a drive away.
That's a drive away.
It's just up the street.
Right.
Coach, we coming.
And listen, at Chicago, if all the Christmas gifts are bought before they get there during the 22nd, they coming in too.
We coming.
But definitely in the indoor stadium.
Yeah, they definitely
we had to have that warmth.
Yeah.
Well, not to get ahead of ourselves, we got Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Lions got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and when this episode comes out, the game will be over. Mm-hmm. So predictions for that game.
Detroit by 17.
You got Detroit by 17?
17? They beat bad teams bad. I done seen it enough, man.
I can see that. I can see it being about 2 touchdowns. Something like
at least 2 touchdowns.
31-14, something like that.
It should be a 2-touchdown game. Mm-hmm. I mean, these games, again, just I've been here before. I just got to get used to that.
Yeah, right.
Not the same old Lions. I got to get accustomed to that.
Right.
But yeah, I fully expect the Lions to
take care of business.
Take care of business.
Oh, by far.
And professionally beat this team. I don't want to say 17 points. I don't want to say they should just professionally beat this team. Whatever it takes to get a victory, just get the victory done.
Get out of there healthy.
Get out of there.
Get out of there healthy.
And I'm real excited to see how Darius Smith is going to play.
Mm-hmm. You said Henry Hooker.
We had an issue. Hard
Still
time. No pass rush in Houston. Fortunately, didn't need one, but no pass rush in Houston. So Darius Smith, I want to see what kind of impact that he's going to make for this defensive unit.
And don't be surprised if you don't see it in far as sacks. Just him pushing the pocket or pushing that edge, giving those D tackles to make more plays, or the other DN. And Coach Glenn came out and said Pascal played well.
Yeah,
Pascal did play well.
McNeil played well.
McNeil played well.
He got his money. So having another threat out there should really open up, to your point, open up lanes for some other guys to make plays too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right, from the Lions to the Pistons. Now, listen, I don't want to celebrate 5-8, but last year at this point we was probably 1-12.
No, we hadn't won a game.
Okay, we was 0-13.
We were
0-13.
UND. Remember, UND hadn't won. Who was
going to win first? Who was going to win first?
Exactly.
UND or the Pistons?
Oh, the Pistons.
But man, they've been competing, been playing well. 5-8. Lost a tough one last night.
Almost gave one away against Miami.
Almost gave one away against Miami. Kid had 2 free throws to make one with 1 second left. Missed them both. I mean, and that would have been a surefire win against a real good Milwaukee team. Well, an all-star Milwaukee team. A team that's not playing very well at all right now. But losing games like that, I mean, if they want to get to a point where they're a team that can, push for a playoff spot or a play-in spot, then they got to win games like that. But Cade Cunningham has been playing outstanding. 2 weeks ago, he had 3 triple-doubles in a row. So we might be looking at, potentially our first all-star since Blake Griffin in 2019 in Cade Cunningham.
To your point, Cade has been playing well. My problem with Cade, and it might not be just his problem, I think they need to take him off the ball. I think he's turnover prone. Against Miami, he turned the boy over in key situations. I don't know if that goes back to Ivy. We don't have a true point guard.
No,
but his ball handling skills, particularly on the perimeter or making the decision making process, is not there. I like him better on the wing. He kind of reminds me what Grant Hill had. I think a better handle and a better knowledge of the game.
Well, Grant Hill had Joe Dumars.
He had
the first 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
He had a vet with him.
Right. He doesn't have a vet. He doesn't have a vet like that. But other than that, to your point, 5-8 is not bad for the Pistons, considering that the league is kind of watered down with talent. Mm-hmm. So, if they come out of this season, maybe 8-10 games up under 500, that could be a playoff spot. Or a play-in.
A play-in game.
Or a play-in.
Could be a play-in.
Depending on what they're doing at the trade deadline and stuff like that. They're getting a young boy back that they drafted in the lottery last year. We got the twin brother. Ansur. Ansur. They're getting him back. From a defensive standpoint of view, he's pretty good off the ball defender. So, and I like the young coach. I like Bickerstaff. He's bringing fresh ideas in. Mm-hmm. He's a young guy, so he can grow with the team, and we see how it go.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How much is coaching dealing with this 5-8 and the improvement of the team that we've seen? Because Monty didn't want to be here.
No, Monty didn't want to be here. And look, Monty said he didn't want to be here.
He told him.
And they offered him more money than he could turn down.
And
that's why he was here. So we really took a step back with hiring Monty Williams. But I think what Bickerstaff has been able to add is a level of discipline and accountability.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's been the biggest.
And you can see it.
The biggest shift.
You see it on the court.
Also is adding a couple vets. You got Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been around, been a winner in this league. And you got Tobias Harris, who's been here before, but been around and been a winner in this league. Real stable vets that I think could come in and really help to be some stabilizing forces for a young group. I like Cade Cunningham on the ball. I think he's just simply got to get better with his decision-making down the stretch. Turned the ball over way too much against Miami. They should have beat them by 10, 15 points at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Turned the ball over way too much against Milwaukee at the end. I think they should have beat them in regulation by about 5 or 6 points. But I think it's times of the game where you want him to take over that he's still a little bit reluctant to really go and get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see him similar to a Grant Hill role where you're kind of playing a point forward type position.
Mm-hmm.
But people, I think, sometimes forget how big he is. You know, this guy is 6'7",
Mm-hmm.
you know, almost 6'8". I mean, this guy's huge. So getting easy baskets down the stretch, the ball in his hands, I think that's a winning formula for him. But the perimeter guys have also got to get better. You got to have some threats out there to shoot the ball. I think you're seeing that a little bit in Beasley. He's been shooting the ball really well lately.
Yeah.
But you need another guy out there too. Kind of roaming and being a threat. Their inside play, there needs to be some depth there. I think Jaden Duren is it. I think Isaiah is a serviceable backup for him, but I think they need another guy out there who can kind of pick and pop a little bit with more of a consistent jump shot outside.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the winning formula really for a lot of teams in the NBA. Now, you got to have 4 or 5 guys out there who can make a perimeter shot. And I think the Pistons are probably a couple pieces away from really vying for the lower half of the playoff position. But I would say that 35 games, I would set that as the bar. Figure out if they can go above or below that.
Anything more than 35 would be.
That's a bonus.
Anything more than 35 games, I think is going to be a bonus for this team. I mean,
You know, when I look at the NBA, and I think Shaq said it best a couple of days ago, everybody run the same plays. You know, it's just what guys you have running those plays.
Yeah, are my guys better than your guys?
Are my guys better than your guys?
Yeah.
You know, we still pick and rolling. They still off the ball screening and stuff like that. They still, the game is, I think we mentioned this before last year in the podcast, the game is played from the outside in now. There's no more big dominant guys down in the post.
Well, it's 2 of them.
With
Embiid and the Joker.
And the Joker, right.
That's pretty much it.
Right. So we just have to fall in line. I think the game is more athletic now. It is more athletic.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as from a skill set, Charles Oakley said it the other day. He was like, when you bring European players over, he felt like the game is softened up a little bit because of the style of play, because the game is played from the outside in. Well, the aggressiveness, these flagrant fouls, and times have changed.
I was about to say, I'm not surprised.
It's a reason for that. It's called TV money.
Well, they changed it from the Pistons to the Bulls, the bad boys and all of that. Right.
People want to see you race up and down the floor. They want to see threes and dunks. They want to see athletic plays. They want to see high scoring matchups. They want to see that. And that's what the eyes of the public want to see. And so you're going to get rules and play that tapers to that, right? The issue, I think, with the Pistons is that they don't have enough guys who can play like that right now. They don't have enough guys who can do that. And once they start getting better talent in there, I think you'll start to see that show up in their record. The second thing that I'm going to say is, don't underestimate the success of the Lions sort of spilling over to the Pistons.
Oh, it's putting guys on notice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you can win here as a professional athlete. And this franchise is accustomed to winning. We've seen 3 championships in our lifetime, right, with the Pistons. And so a lot of that, I think that's that sort of spirit, that spirit of grit. And Cade even said it in one of the post-game interviews. I think it was either Cade or Jalen Duren said it at one of the interviews about, mention grit. Mm-hmm. That's a Lions moniker.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that kind of winning spirit is starting to spill out into the Pistons. I think it's going to be a good thing for them.
But is the Pistons front office willing to spend money?
No.
See, and that's the problem.
No, not now. And I don't disagree with not spending money right now.
Okay.
I don't think you have a good enough team to spend money.
Well, let's and I know we hadn't really talked about the Tigers in their season and how successful they were. Their general manager came out today and pretty much said that they're not going to spend money.
They're not ready to spend.
They're not ready. But they are ready.
Yeah.
Because even the manager, AJ Hinch, said this. He's like, what we did this past season is not sustainable. We don't have a power bat in our lineup. Now, do you want to go get a Juan Soto? That's going to cost you $500 million. But you have a bat in your lineup that when you come up to bat, he's a threat. You got to make it's like they say, a business decision. We don't have, you can't keep moving, and we play baseball. Mm-hmm. You can't keep moving players around, hoping and wishing. You got to have a guy in that lineup that you can say, hey, they can't pitch around this guy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, but I think it's got to come in a number of ways. Spending money can't be the only way you get better, right? And I think what you saw in the Tigers is you saw a bunch of sort of average guys play above average, above what they. Yeah. And so how sustainable is that?
It's not.
So I think part of that is those guys getting better and showing that they're getting better. And one of those guys or two of those guys becoming those bats in a lineup that are a threat. And I think then you go get that piece and spend that money. Then you go out in free agency and start to get that. But I don't know if they got a lineup right now that I would say, let's go spend $500,000 on another bat, and that's going to take us over the top.
Well, look what they did with Miguel Cabrera. And it paid off early on. Later on down in his career when he wasn't probably half the ball player he was, they still had to pay him that big money. But when you go out and get guys, they have Torkelson. They have guys in that lineup that's sustainable for when you bring in a guy like a Juan Soto, you bring in superstars or one or two superstars, Bregman over at Houston, guys that can solidify your lineup to make your team for the next 4 or 5 years and let those other guys that you're talking about develop and still play at the same time. We right there. We made it to the playoffs. We made it to the playoffs with a few putrid guys and AJ Hinch with his managerial success, putting guys in the right spot at the right time. And you got a Cy Young winner and the left-handed pitcher. That's he's gonna win the Cy Young. Yes. So now, just like we say with the Lions, go get that defensive end. Now's the time.
Yeah, but they're there though.
If the one thing that the Tigers didn't show you or did show you was that they're there. If you looked at the Cleveland series, if you looked at those series, they just didn't have the batting.
They don't have the talent.
They have the talent. The talent is there.
It wasn't.
They don't have the hitting.
There was no threats in that lineup.
To my point.
I understand that, but I think you get that not just in free agency, but I think you also have to develop that in your farm system and develop that with the guys that are playing every day.
They had one of the best farm systems in they had one of the worst. Now their farm system is stocked with talent. With the guys they have on this active roster right now, you add 2 bats to that lineup, they would probably been playing for the American League Championship Series.
What's 2 bats going to cost you?
Probably $500 million.
They're not willing to
spend that. They're not going to spend that.
Right, because they're not.
And I don't disagree with them not being willing.
See, and that's the difference between owners like George. That's the difference. George Steinbrenner, your guy, Jerry Jones. But they're invested in their teams. This guy right here, now Mike Ilitch would have spent the money. His son is a businessman.
Yeah, Mike would have probably spent the money.
Mike brought in
Cecil.
Baby Cecil. Prince.
Yeah, Prince.
Brought in Prince Fielder. He brought in Maglio. He brought in
Pudge Rodriguez.
Right.
Paid him a whole lot of money. Shouldn't have paid him.
But we won.
Money. Yeah.
And you're going to make that money back 10 times fold because people don't come see him play.
Yeah.
It's only 40,000 people that hold in Comerica Park.
I get it. But to me, it's clear that they got a formula. What I think their formula is that they want to develop as much talent as they possibly can and spend money when they need to spend money to get them over the top.
Let me ask you this question, and we can go to the next topic. The teams that you've seen that were in the World Series, do you think they would have been there without Shohei Ohtani?
No.
Mookie Betts?
No.
Who's the big boy over in the Yankees, the center fielder? That hits all 100.
Judge.
Aaron Judge. You know, those guys, the guy who hit the grand slam against us and played for the Cleveland.
No, he was raking all series, but yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
Judge is a career Yankee.
But what I'm saying is, you have to bring in those type caliber players.
I don't disagree with it.
To get to the level you want to get to.
I don't disagree with it. I just think we disagree in timing. I don't know if it's time yet.
We have a good team. We have a good team.
We got a good team that played great this year.
But if you add great players, those good players that you have will play great. Because your organization is saying to us, the fans, hey, listen, we here. We in this game. When Soto comes up to batting third with a man on second and third, they got one or two things they can do: either pitch to him or walk him.
Well, I think the Tigers run reminds me of the 02 or 03 Pistons run, where they took Orlando, they took, I think it was Indiana, and made it to the second round of the playoffs. And we all thought that they overachieved that year, and there was a lot of expectations for the following year. It wasn't until the trade deadline
when they brought in Sheed.
And they brought in Sheed because they thought that would be the piece to take them over the top. In the interim, they developed Tayshaun. They went and got Chauncey the year prior, and started to make small moves to get them to get them where they needed to be. And I think that's a smart move, particularly in a place like Detroit, where it's not a major market. It's not New York, it's not LA, it's not Chicago, but it's an opportunity for you to really develop the talent that you have, make small moves, get guys that you think, may not have panned out in other places, but are getting a second chance or a third chance in some scenarios. I think they're making the right decision. It's not too late. If they come in spring training, season starts, few months in, you make a big move to go get another guy. Or you do it at the start of spring training. I just think that,
we're saying the same thing.
It's just timing. We're saying the same thing, but it's just timing. I don't think right now is the time.
Well,
let's see what these guys are going to do.
Your formula is kind of like winning on the cheap. Kind of like if I take that to the NFL.
When you're in a small market, that's what Detroit is probably a medium market, intermediate market, that's what you do.
We only a medium market because ownership don't want to spend the money. Detroit Tigers had they almost had $100 million to spend.
And they didn't. And they've been there before.
But just thinking.
And they got burned with it.
But, I'm
just saying.
Wait, what do you want to do? Well, you want to be scared to go out there and win a World Series? Or do you want to sit back and play the maybe?
Every owner ain't Mark Cuban. Every owner ain't Jerry Jones. Some people just they play it. They play an aggressively conservative ownership game. Where I'm aggressively going for the people that I think I can get and hope that they play above what I'm paying them.
I need them.
And then if I need to go over it to take me over the top and pay somebody more, I'll do that then. But show me first, and then we'll see about it later.
I can see you say, show me first. We haven't had a World Series winner in 40 years. 40. Now you talking about let's wait 2 more. Right?
Well,
you talking about let's wait till they develop. No, I'm saying go get that guy now. 1 or 2 guys. Well, spend the money.
I think we can.
You're going to make the money back twofold.
I think we can both agree that the Lions was in a position to go ahead and spend money or get somebody, and they did that. I think we can also agree that the times that the Pistons have done that, whether it be trade or going to get a free agent, they've done that, and it's been the right time for them to do that. I don't know that the Tigers have gotten their cadence right. And so I'm just leery of whether or not they'll go and they'll pay now and then it'll burn them in the end, or should you just wait and see what your guys are going to do and what type of team you're going to have, and then you go and get that over the top next level talent to get you where you need to go.
Well,
Spend it now or spend it later. I just say spend it later.
Now.
I say spend it later.
I give Juan Soto $500 million. $500 million for 10 years. What's that? $50 million a year?
He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna come to a development.
He's 25 years old.
I get that.
The guy gonna hit you 40 to 50 home runs a year. Bregman over in Houston. He a wily veteran. Give him $100 million for 4 years. That's $25 million a year.
And so what do you say to your
You
fans?
throw them guys in your lineup with what you have now.
Go get Ron Soto, and what do you say to your fans when you're 15 and 50?
You're not gonna be 15 and 50.
I'm just saying.
You can't. You're not gonna be 15 and 50.
Well, the shortstop might have spoiled a lot of.
Well,
spending. He done spoiled a lot of this spending because they don't want to get burned again.
Somebody will take him. They'll take him. They'll take him.
Wow, we could.
You think they just gonna
Like the Lions did this year. Guess what? When you're successful, guess what you do? You raise the ticket prices.
you do, but
And
they
they go. You're
but they
there.
have the right to do so.
And
You make it to
you don't
the
think the Tigers gonna raise the
NFC
prices?
Championship. You have the right to
Tigers
do
gonna
so.
raise the prices
Yeah.
too
They're gonna raise it because they can, and we go
because they
still gonna
won. They came out
They
of nowhere.
won. They
Didn't
came
nobody
out of
expect the
nowhere.
Tigers.
A lot of
to be in the
promise coming
playoffs.
up on this season, but I'm just. Let's wait and see.
Okay.
I say spend the money later. You say spend the money now.
Let's wait and see then. That's all we can do. What we got next, brother?
Well, we got a big fight coming up. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
I'm gonna give
Y'all
you
not excited. Y'all not excited
you
about.
said big,
Not
and
excited
it threw
about
me.
Mike Tyson, the 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul. No one's excited, huh?
It's fake news. It's like it's a fake fight.
You think it's a fake fight?
Oh, I know it's a fake fight. I talked to personal insiders who know the game.
Oh, you got some people out
No,
there.
you can't.
You
Know a guy.
Yeah,
He know a guy.
You know a guy who know a guy.
Like the women say, the T.
You got
I got the T.
What you got? What you got?
Well,
on the fight,
man, you know, talking to my guy, shout out to my boy Sid Boswell, former heavyweight champion.
Yeah, my man.
And who in the boxing game,
Yes,
who a
sir.
promoter, Boswell Promotions. Big shout out to him in Atlanta. We was talking about this the other day. And I was curious too. I said, so what you think about the fight? And you know what the first thing he said? What fight? I said Tyson and Jake Paul. He was like, man, that's not no fight.
It's a money grab.
It's a money grab.
It's a money grab.
It's a money grab.
My only hope, and people are tuning in. I don't know if they're expecting to see 20-year-old Mike Tyson, but you're not going to get 20-year-old Mike Tyson. You're getting 58-year-old Mike Tyson.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of holding and grabbing. And I just don't want him to, first of all, get hurt. And then sort of taint his legacy. You know, it's still Mike Tyson, man. I hate to see our legends try to push it a little bit further than they should. It's 8 rounds, 2 minutes. It's not what he's accustomed to, but it's still boxing. He ain't wearing a headgear protection. This guy, he get hit with something. I mean, it could be detrimental to him. And this guy, Jake Paul, he young, fiery.
But it's not like, listen,
You saying
it's
it's not
stipulations
real.
in there. Like, I guarantee you that Mike Tyson gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Okay, but
Because it's like
gloves ain't it? The gloves.
It's WW.
F-E,
Whatever you wanna
what
call
it is.
It's a Vince McMahon production without Vince McMahon name on the.
But you could
the
still
billboard.
get a little banged up. Somebody hit you with some 16-ounce gloves.
If anybody
it's gonna
get
rock
knocked
you
out
at 58.
Well, somebody
Listen.
getting hurt would be the payoff at this point because it might not.
Remember
be,
when
you know?
Floyd fought
somebody hurt.
Roy Jones.
No.
No, it was not Sweep.
the MMA guy.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Conor McGregor.
it was, like we said, entertaining. It's entertainment.
It's not.
It's on Netflix. It's not pay-per-view.
Yeah, man, it ain't funny.
You got
to me,
Netflix.
I got it.
You had Netflix.
I got Netflix.
What that cost you a month? $22 a month.
I'm sharing it.
12.
Right. 12. It's Netflix. It's just for show.
I don't want to see the guy get hurt.
Now Mike Tyson gonna make money. He gonna make money.
20 M's.
Yeah,
I heard
20 M's.
Mike
For Mike.
20 M's.
Yeah.
That's good
And
money
Paul
for
getting-
Mike.
You know how much Netflix pay
Paul
out
getting
for
40.
comedy specials?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I think, I don't know the exact
They-
numbers,
yeah,
but
Chappelle and them guys,
Chappelle,
yeah.
they get paid.
Yeah.
But
they
this
do.
guy, Jake Paul, trying to knock Mike out. I don't know if he just talking or I think he really trying to do something to Mike, man. I don't think he taking this. I don't think Mike taking this like is
if he
the
came to me and said, "Let me knock you out for 20," okay, you knocking me out for 20.
No, man.
Mike Tyson ain't he.
Yeah, man. He's
not rich.
But the guy prideful though. He's prideful. He ain't gonna let this guy just beat on him like this, man.
Mike Tyson
gonna put up a fight.
He gonna get, if he getting $20 million, it's a payday for him.
He gonna put up a fight
for a minute.
It's Mike.
Well,
he gonna last as long as he can. I don't think it's gonna last eight rounds. No, I don't think it's gonna go 8 rounds. Mike may get tired before the end and not come out his corner. But man, he ain't trying to get beat up though. I mean, it's still Mike Tyson.
That's 16 minutes of fighting
for $20 million.
For $20 million.
He, like you said, he might not do 16.
Now look, I
don't think he's gonna knock Mike out. I don't think that's gonna happen.
The Roy Jones fight with Mike was a disappointment, and like you said, to your point, was the holding, the grabbing. Let's dance this away.
Right. We both got paid.
He probably gonna get that again.
It's Netflix.
But you got a question on there.
Go ahead.
Legacy. It's not gonna do anything.
No, I ain't gonna.
It does not
do anything for.
It's not gonna change my thought. It's not gonna change my thought on Mike. You know, I would have loved to see him fight. You know, back in the day, some of the other eras. Mm-hmm. So it does nothing. I still think he's one of the greatest.
If he lose, though, you ain't gonna like.
Man, no,
because it's not real.
Mike, if he
it ain't real.
I'm still gonna expect
Mike
a Christmas gift from Santa Claus.
Man on the
you
planet.
think Mike want to lose?
I don't think he wants to.
I mean, for $20 million, do he care?
Yeah,
I think he cares. He got a twitch in his head that cares.
I don't think he cares.
I think he cares.
What happens with the switch, right? We all know about the switch. You know, you may be up in age, but if you out there swinging a baseball bat, playing basketball, whatever it is that you do and did, you know, in your heyday, there's a certain switch that, like, it ain't just a friendly game for you no more. At some point in your mind, in your head, it's going to switch on, like, I really did this for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't test me. Don't play me short.
Oh, that
I can really.
But that works both ways.
I just see that happening with Mike. Like, I don't know if it's sustainable. It's definitely not sustainable at 50.
It's gonna have to happen early.
At some point in that fight, Mike gonna get hit
in his jaw. It's gonna have to happen early.
Like,
yeah.
No.
This was gonna happen. Just to your point, the switch gonna hit, gonna click. He gonna get hit in his head or in his jaw. And he gonna be like, "Why the f am I?" I'm 58 years old.
Yeah.
So you think it's gonna work the opposite way?
Or the young Jake Paul could be like, you know what? Why I'm in this ring with this still the baddest man on the planet. Mm-hmm. Back in the day,
he's still he has a killer's mentality. I can't say
so it can work both ways. But once again, it's Netflix. You get to watch it for free for $20, for $12 for you, 22 and some change for me.
I don't want to see Mike get hurt, man. I want to see Mike come out of this thing in one piece.
This is gonna answer the question, man. What's more dangerous to you, a 2-year-old pit bull or a 14-year-old pit bull? Which one gonna bite the hardest? That's what's gonna come down to, man. 'Cause, you know, Mike gonna go at this guy, man. He gonna go at him.
I mean, if you look at his training on Instagram and stuff like that,
it's selling tickets.
He bringing it. I mean, man got the body bag on and but
did he swing back at him?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
It's all fun and games until you get hit for real.
Exactly.
Well, that's it. Another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz. Thanks for tuning in, and we out.
Peace.